On to breaking news coming in right this minute. Reports saying Donald Trump told Netanyahu that the US could strike Iran's Fordow nuclear site if needed. Reports saying President Trump recently told the Israeli Prime Minister that the US would consider striking Iran's underground Fordow nuclear facility if such a move would become necessary to prevent Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. In fact, reports suggesting Trump conveyed this message to Netanyahu in phone calls over the past several weeks. Remember, Israel targeted the Fordow facility on Friday. However, the White House has officially denied that Trump is considering a U.S. strike, stating that now is not the time to launch an attack on Iran. Now, the issue will be a critical one in the coming days and weeks as Israel continues its newly launched campaign on Iranian nuclear and military sites. In fact, Iran confirmed that the Fordow site sustained limited damage from the recent Israeli attacks. That's the latest coming in at this point. A crucial input coming in at this point as far as the situation in West Asia is concerned. We are telling you what reports are saying. In fact, reports saying that Donald Trump told Netanyahu that the U.S. could strike Iran's Fordow nuclear site if needed. President Trump, in fact, reports saying recently told the Israeli Prime Minister that the U.S. would consider striking Iran's underground Fordow nuclear facility if such a move would become necessary to prevent Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. So what does all of this really mean for West Asia? Earlier, we spoke to experts from around the world on what things are looking like, and this is the assessment that they shared with us.
Has already been preparing for another wave of ballistic missile strike against Israel. So we're definitely expecting more to come from Iran, as Iran says and has said before that it has a lot of surprises for Israel and, of course, for the United States. So what is on the table for now, different officials, commanders within the Iranian military sphere have been talking about closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is very significant. Definitely you know about the significance of the Strait of Hormuz being a passageway for some 20% of the world's energy transit. So if they close the Strait of Hormuz, it means the disruption of the world's energy transit.
We have two Americas. One is America, that we call it state, and the other is Mr. Trump's America. There is many differences between the two Americas. Mr. Trump tried to put Iran on the table and tried to oblige Iran to put a sign on a blank paper for the future of the Iran, for the future of the nuclear program and something else. Iran refused, and Iran called it as a red line for that. So tomorrow, the world's supposed to see the accord signed between Iran and the United States in Oman, in Muscat. And Israel stopped that.
Other allies of Ukraine had already agreed to supply missiles that hit targets which are about 300 kilometers away from Ukraine. Now, the Taurus, which has been discussed since 2 years already, has a reach of maybe 500 kilometers. And to not supply it, as obviously is not going to happen, not to supply it to Ukraine, but to agree to help Ukraine to build it itself, is most of all a signal towards Russia. Look, we're going to do more. We're not shrinking back because you're continuing your war in Ukraine. Now, is this bringing peace, is your question. Who can answer that? Even Russia, I think, is not sure where in the end they will go. They have agreed with President Trump on negotiating, but they didn't enter negotiations. They had agreed on an armistice that then didn't implement it. So it is very difficult to know the strategy of Russia.
The Israelis have relatively enormous capabilities militarily. strongest military in the region, one of the strongest, best trained, best equipped militaries in the world. And the Iranians have quite a few ballistic missiles at their disposal. The estimate was that Iran had more than 3,000 ballistic missiles. Some of those were degraded last October. More of them were hit again by Israel at the start of this attack. But if they've still got a couple thousand ballistic missiles, so far they've only fired little more than 200 at Israel, and we're already seeing damage inside Israel. Iran can overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome and David Sling and their other defense systems, and can inflict heavy damage in Israel. Israel can apparently inflict unlimited damage inside Iran.